Hello everyone, I'm Yong from China Construction Third Engineering Infrastructure Construction Investment Corporation Ltd. from Wuhan in China. I'm making a presentation about my study titled Methodology for Describing the Whole Process to Accident Based on Entropy Increase, Principle, and Darwin's Natural Selection. Accident is always translated into unexpected events that result in undesired consequence before an accident occurs. Some sequential stages have come into existence, such as the stage of creating indirect and direct accident causes. If putting an accident as a final of several stages, there should be an orange that tracks those stages. Additionally, the evolution from origin to final should be driven or guided by some power, just like car is propelled by an engine. Thus, the whole process from an origin to the accident corresponding to it contains three components, including water power, water is orange, and water is intermediate. When seeing this mentioned three questions for the first time, some readers may argue that existing accident models have provided seemingly acceptable answers. All existing accident models are established for controlling the hazards which are possible to result in unwanted losses, such as working at high places and handles materials. If hazards can be controlled by all time, accidents will not occur. Therefore, hazards can be defined as the source of accidents. Hazards typically are involved with energy. For example, the methane in a chemical system contains high internal energy, and the internal energy will direct the entire system to the stages of fire or explosion if it is released accidentally. Some well-known accident models have been motivated by the idea, such as energy transfer model. Evidently, energy is the force that carries the evolution of the contributors forward to accidents. And for the third question, readers will confidently assert that all the accident models have been proposed can account for intermediate, because each of them is a bridge between an orange and the accident it belongs to. However, the above-mentioned answers are in a narrow sense. It's a consensus that uncontrollable hazards are highly possible to tragic accidents, but before hazards get out control, some safe barriers must have failed. This is because the failures of safety barriers are the necessary conditions for the release of hazards. Safety barriers are also the components of the system which hazards exist in. So it's more valuable to extend the discussion on accident origin to safety barriers and other objectives beyond hazards. Physical energy can change some parts in a system to be for sure, just like a burning gasoline tank in a depot can ignite the gasoline tanks within safety distance through heat transmission. But increasing studies have demonstrated that human unsafe acts contribute to a large proportion of previous accidents. Could this unsafe acts from energy like fire or high temperature? The answer is hard to convincing, because if a worker is injured by fire, he will lose the physical ability of acting. The occurrence of unsafe acts may be explained by something beyond energy, considering the chronological order of accident contributors. The whole process to an accident should be dynamic and is involved with multiple factors. Thus, an intermediate should provide us the detailed mechanism of the emergence of accidents, which must be built on sound theoretical foundation. As a conclusion, currently existing X models are hard to provide satisfied answers to the machine theory questions. The present study will propose some novelties on the answer to the absolute power origin the intermediate. Based on those proposals, an action model which can present the whole process to accidents will be developed. In the case, users and researchers are able to understand accidents in a more systemic manner. The methodology of this study includes three parts, including power with entropy increase principle. In identify oranges, so review the literature regarding hierarchical levels of accident causes so as to find the inherent causes. The third is identify intermediate with diverse natural selection. The factors related to the safety performance of a system can be categorized into safe factors and unsafe factors. Safe factors are the measures for maintaining a system safely operating, such as safe regulation and supervision. In most of cases, they are observed as the components of actual models. Safe factors are usually organized in the form of hierarchical control. Unsafe factors will inevitably go towards accident if lacking controlling measures from safe factors. Unsafe factors lie at the upstream of the up-down structure of safe control and have no regulatory influence on safe factors. Thus, no external things supervise and manage safe factors. In this case, we also see a solution occur to safe to safe to safe to safe factors. Countless previous tragic accidents have provided an answer yes. In another word, safe will definitely fail as long as it has existed for enough long time. Actually, due to the control feedback flow posed by safe factors have a capability of control correcting their failures to maintain the state that the unsafe factors always stay in the range of control. On the other hand, unsafe factors will gradually be out of control when the level of safe factors capability is less than the goals of unsafe factors. That's to say that this capability will decrease with time. The reason for decrease comes from entropy increase principle, EIP. EIP implicit that an isolated system will evolve towards a disordered state. EIP is able to be shifted to the study on the evolution of other isolated systems because of its ability of generalization. A system should be defined as isolated if all factors related to it can be conceptualized as the inclusion of a system. In safety field, an isolated system should be the one which contains all factors influencing its safety performance. Any system in the present refers to such a system. As a result, the EIP is applicable to the present study. The entropy flow of a system in the phase is minimum. The nature of small disorder will drive all inputs of a system to the state with maximum choice. At the time, both safe factors and unsafe factors are in a worse situation, although safe factors worsen in a slower speed than that of unsafe factors due to foremost capability of correction. As a conclusion, the power for the evolution of system is the inevitable small detail which is determined by general EIP. Some systems may keep safe throughout the life cycle from the perspective of power. That's because those systems terminate before approaching to the disorder current accident for the systems. For the systems with frequency the very bad the very bad performance of safe fighters should be blamed because their capability of correction decrease in speed much over acceptable level. Especially the mentioned decrease is in a wave line instead of a straight line. This because the mentioned correction is able to resist disorder for some periods. For example, when your mass even occurs in a system, safe process will find that the solve involved safe issues to temporary impulse safety levels. Failed safe factors will be transformed into unsafe factors. As time goes by, both safe factors and safe factors will worsen faster and faster until the degree which give birth to accident. Origin is the accident causes which occurs at the earliest time. The elaboration of power shows that spontaneous disorder will push our incursion of system towards fails. It implies that those incursions start the process to failures at the same time. Consequently, both safe failures and unsafe failures will involve toward disorder because spontaneity is inherent and playing a role all the time. Unsafe failures are controlled by safe factors. In safe factors do not fail, unsafe factors will stay controllable all the time. Thus, an origin should come from the failures of safe factors. Scholars always identify safe factors as three hierarchical levels of accident causes, including the root, the radical, and the indirect. Root causes can be understood as that a fundamental underlying system that the reason why a indirect occurred identified a corresponding corrective failures in management systems. Some studies have found its typical inclusion such as test safety, caution, and safety commitment. Radical causes are immediately linked to root causes. They mainly refer to the failures related to safety management. Indirect causes rely on radical causes and other direct results from the failures of safe management system as the usually include person or core safety knowledge, the key skills, physical and psychological status. Additionally, the well-known sharp and broad and extensive scope of accident analysis, the morals and social norms which are beyond the regulatory and government. Morals and social norms play its role in a latent way, rather than direct regulate government or companies that and are hybrid causes which directly generate effect on root causes. Society plays its role through propagating public opinions which are the resources for social pressure from objectives. From this perspective, this brain study considers that morals and social norms have to be acted to put the social perception and awareness into scope. Perception brings accident factors to social, and awareness stimulates society to from public opinions. Summarily, the extended morals and social norms are named as social causes. As a consequence, the brain study considers that accident origins are born in social life. Intermediate stage focus on the emotion from origin to its corresponding accident. Universal Darwinism strongly holds that point the evolution will occur in a cluster of entities if it is possible to apply variations, a constant selection process, and approach of preserving and or pre-packaging the selected variables to them. You know the Darwinian argues that the four components contained by Darwin natural selection are the generic framework of evolution. Users just need to follow the framework and they can specify the details of evolution within this framework in their own style. Darwin natural selection including excessive multiplication, struggle for existence, heritable variation, the survival of the fittest. Excessive multiplication states that species will naturally produce as much offspring as possible under given conditions. For example, human population have the capability of increasing in numbers. Struggle for existence indicates that only a tiny fraction of offspring will succeed because of limited resources for survival and other constraints. Heritable variation means that the variation in traits that can be passed on to next generation. These varied traits may make individuals position them should to a particular environment will survival of the fittest purpose the environment is not changeless and only the individuals always fit the changing environment can survive. From a global perspective, excessive multiplication creates enormous number of individuals for of species individuals are screened by struggle for existence. The ones passing screen have to produce having variation and pass them to following generations, which need to be continuously changes their trends for adapting to change for environment. It's impossible that all of the excessive subsequent answer factors will keep existence all time. Rotation or rejection will be determined by some sieves. The first one is struggle for existence. When an accident occurs, some answer factors must have broken through all barriers. That's to say they have one the struggles they faced. There are two types of struggles: the internal and the external. No, it should be it should be it should be among faces that the entire struggle is done in a closed system which it belongs to. In other words, all factors related to solve will be include to interact with the participants of squad. There are 10 types of safe factors: social factors, government safety policies, government regulation, the monetary safety, commitment and emphasis of managerial level of a system, safety institution, the programs, safety inspection, and the supervision, harness the identification and elimination, training and development for safety competence, communication, and the transfer of information, real-time control. The unsafe factors retained by struggle for existence will face the second step. Heritable variation provide you unsafe factors with the attributes which help themselves or their subsequent generation to continuously win the soul with the safe factors. In other words, unsafe factors have to escape from the continuous controls of safe factors. There are three ways to escape. The first is that unsafe factor step detection. Area of safety factors detection means that safe factors are aware of unsafe factors. The second is that although the degree of unsafe factors is over the critical point between the detected and the undetected, it's still not enough to arrest the reaction from safe factors as input by the well-known as long as reasonably practicable, which proposes that the response persons can make no reaction to acceptable risks. The third is that the unsafe factors create the conflicts between the gains and losses resulting from that safe factors interact with unsafe factors. To elucidate the proposed model, a case study for the formation the for a collapse accident is conducted. The process is as follows: modeling the collapsed accident in Fengcheng, China in 2016 with ACC map HFSS. Then scored the proposed methodology ACC map and the HFSS based on the modeling results with indicators generality, communicability, interaction, consistency, taxonomy, completeness, and simplicity. Then determine the overall rating of the three accident models with further analytical hierarchical process such as FAHP. And the final ranking is 0.403, 0.353, 0.244. So the proposed methodology has the best score. So the personal study identified power orange and the intermediate wheel, and the proposed methodology have advantages on generality, consistency, taxonomy, and completeness. The proposed methodology also covers a sufficiently wide copy from security to specific operation on the basis of generic entropy increase, placement Darwin's natural selection. However, it's also revealed that the proposed methodology has drawbacks in communicability, interaction, simplicity, which means the proposed methodology is not good for users to understand. These drawbacks will be remediated by studying in future by two means. In principle, the first is to simplify model elements. The proposed model designs 10 dimensions for safe factors and 3 hierarchy variations for unsafe factors, as well as the risk relations among them. Most of them have different meanings from other models or should be understood in an unconventional manner. It's not easy for users to build a communication path between them. Thus, on the basis of refining current prevalent action models, the future work will focus on merging elements in the proposed model and turning their concept to create an interface for external communication. Some existing research results are helpful, such as the classification mechanism of action model and action model evolution history. The second is to transform entropy evolution model into two hierarchies. The half hierarchy is for models microstructure which summarize our components into several types and also elaborates the interactions. Those types will be given more definitions to cover the full scope of factors contributing accidents. The lower hierarchy is for the specific inclusion of micro types. Thank you very much.